So, good vach. Everyone, Shvua Tov. It's amazing. There has to be one Klal Yisrael that's here at 20 after 12, after eating chalt in the afternoon. Not easy to stay up an hour afterwards, and you're here, and that's it has to be something in our genes. It has to be something that we've taken over the years. It's just part of us. So the Gemara says, the Talmud says, Kol bayis, any house where wine doesn't pour like water, there's no blessing in the house. Wine has to pour like water. What does that mean? That wine has to pour like water. So one would think, okay, bring out the wine. The Taz, Turizov, one of the famous commentaries, says it means something else. Suppose you ask your son, do me a favor, you get me a cup of water? And the kid comes in and he's on the phone and he's talking to his sister and he trips and the glass flips through the air, falls onto the floor, crashes, water spills over the place, and you say to your kid, can you look what you're doing? But basically that's the amount of emotion in your frustration that he dropped the water. But let's say you had a guest and you said to your son, do me a favor, can you bring me, I have a $800 bottle of wine? Bring it in. And he's on the phone and he's talking to his sister and he trips and the $800 bottle of wine crashes and spills all over the place. So probably your emotions will be more or less along the same lines. You're going to say, what's with you? Right? You're going to lose it a little. You may, not people that are coming here to say slichos, not about regular people, they may just lose it a little bit. That's like. So what the Talmud is really saying is that we have to equate the two. If you're frustrated over a cup of water, then don't be more frustrated over a cup of wine. It was spilled, it's what happened, but that's it. It's done. Move on with your life. So any house where the wine doesn't spill like water does not have a siman bracha. I want to try to put this into perspective. I remember when I married off my 14th son. No, not 14th son, 14th child, okay? And the house was very empty. The empty nest syndrome? House is very, very empty. And I forgot that he got married. And I would sit and I would say, Ari, can you get me a... Where is he? And my wife said, he got married? Oh, right. So I was just thinking, if I would say, Ari, can you get me my shoes? Where is he? He's still out roller skating. What is he doing up so late at night? I don't believe this. Ari, can you get me my shoes? No, he had detention again because he threw another gumball at the teacher. I can't. I'm that kid. But when I hear he's not here because he's married, oh, thank Hashem, Baruch Hashem, right? That I was able to marry off my kids. So listen to this. The way to look at life is that everything is marriage. A lot of you are getting worried. No, relax. Let me explain. I remember once I was in a nursing home and I was speaking, and they told me that there are a couple of older people that, Rahman al-Islam, lost their wives now. You're talking about people in their 80s, 90s, and just be sensitive. So I said, I want to tell you that the Zohar, the Kabbalah, it says that if you lose your wife down here in this world, God forbid, chas v'shalom, spouses that lose each other in Olam Haba, in the world that lasts forever, she's going to be back with you. And I hear one old man saying, oh no, relax, calm down. So the Arizal says, 40 days before a baby is created, Machrizin, they announce to Shemayim, Bas Ploni LePloni, the daughter of so-and-so is going to marry so-and-so. Well, that's marriage. But it is not just limited to marriage. A zivug, pairing, isn't just marriage, it's everything. The fact that you're all here tonight, what brings you here together under one roof? There's a quest. There's a way of saying to Hashem, what's happening in Klal Yisrael? What's happening in the world? I know that you're resetting the world. Please help me. Put it into perspective. Put it into place. I know it's going to happen regardless, but I need to feel it. You know when your car says, oil change needed, and I went to the mechanic and he changes the oil, and I drive out, and I'm like, and I'm driving up to the country, and it still says oil change needed, oil change. I just had an oil change. What is going on? And I was so nervous the entire way back and forth because what's going to happen with the car? Usually when it needs an oil change, it needs other things as well. And I come back and I drive into the mechanic and he says, okay, I just forgot to reset the thing, but I did the oil change. So whether we like it or not, Hashem is going to reset the world. There's no question about it in a couple of days from now. The question is only, do we feel it? Do we feel it in our heart? And that's what we're here for. We're here for to try to understand it. Your workmate is a peer that was created by God in Shemayim. Your neighbor, it doesn't just happen by chance. Anyone that we meet in this world, it's choreographed, it's orchestrated from Shemayim. And once we understand that, okay, it was meant from Shemayim. It was meant from heaven that I meet so-and-so today and I have a relationship with him. It was meant that I meet so-and-so and I have a challenge with him. So it's all marriage. Then when things don't go our way, we're not so terribly upset. Just like I'm not so terribly upset that my son is not here because he got married. He was supposed to get married. Okay, so it means that I'm supposed to be here. So, again, I like to say, don't talk to the camera. So many camera people have heard the story maybe one too many times. But when I was a young boy, goes back quite a couple of years ago. How many years ago? We'll leave for a different time. I was in a yeshiva on 12th Avenue and 45th Street. It was called Ber Shmuel. That was the name of the yeshiva. And all of a sudden, trailers pulled up. There's a lot of excitement. What's the excitement? They're going to film a scene in a movie right here. Out of all places, in front of the yeshiva. Some scene of a gangster movie. Now, this goes back to the, I don't know when it was, 70s, 80s. And we were, of course, very excited. They're gonna film a movie. This is right in front of us. The rabbis, the Rosh Yeshiva, was not so excited. As a matter of fact, he spoke to the local politicians and to the local board and whatever. And basically, could they take this shoot someplace else? And they said that the city makes so much money on these contracts, when movies come to shoot, forget about it, okay? They're not moving this movie anywhere. There's nothing to talk about. This movie is staying here. So the head of the yeshiva, the dean, the rabbi, the Rosh Yeshiva called us all in and said, no one look. But he knew he had to do more than that, so they actually opened up a back door so he can come in from the back. They actually, for the first time in many, many years, got new window shades. It was long overdue anyway. And they just said, listen, this is what it is. They said it's going to be about a week for them to set it up. And the shoot itself is only going to be about a 10-minute scene or a 5-minute scene. And it's going to take them a couple of days to mop up afterwards. I expect you boys to act responsibly. So I was sitting in my classroom. I was in 9th grade. And I was right next to the window. And little by little, I'm not sure, maybe through an angel or some force from Shemayim, the window shade was getting higher and higher. I'm not sure exactly how it happened. Could be also I subconsciously did it, but I'm not sure. And I was looking outside. And this was the big shoot. The big shoot was going to be all of a couple of minutes. And some famous movie actor came running out. Now, the good thing was that it was a 1940 gangster movie. So everyone was dressed modestly, as they did in the 1940s. That part was good. And they had these big cars. Remember the old cars with the tall tops and the big fenders on the front hood lights, the lights on the fenders, and everything was perfect. They changed the signs, the street signs. They changed the pump on the street. They had like this facade they put over the houses. It was amazing what they did for this 5-minute shoot. And out comes this actor, and he's running, and he's trying to grab a cab. And someone's chasing him with a gun. So he really needs to get this cab. Ubers were not available yet. And he's fighting with this other guy who wants the cab. And the other guy pushes him aside and says, it's my cab, and jumps in. And the cab takes off. He turns around. He has to face the guy with the gun. He jumps over a gate, and the chase continues elsewhere. But that's the end of the scene. And, of course, the scene was repeated multiple times. I guess they kept forgetting Yalav Yodli or something. They had to repeat it again and again. And I'm watching the scene. It was really fascinating. And I look in the mirror, not the mirror, but look in the window, which is kind of acting as a mirror, and I see my Rebbe, my teacher, I see his face, and I'm going, uh-oh. And I turn around, and he's looking at me, and he's saying, uh-huh. So I said, now I'm in for it. Where's that cab? And he says, so tell me. So what did you just see that was so important? So I said, I told him, this guy's running out, and he's trying to grab the cab, and someone else grabbed the cab ahead of him, and he was in trouble because the guy was there with the gun. He was about to shoot him, and he had to go through this trauma a couple of times because they kept reshooting it. So he said, so boys, what do we learn from here? So everyone is suggesting, yeah, it's all nonsense. Yeah, movies are just promote violence. Yeah, nah. Come on. Someone come up with something better. So we gave up. And let me tell you what my Rebbe said. He said, who is the actor? We don't know these things. We don't watch movies, but the actor is so-and-so. And what's the name of the movie? We don't know. We don't know these things, but the movie is called whatever. And how much is this actor getting paid? Oh, more than a Rebbe does. Come on, how much is this actor getting paid? Well, we heard, we heard that it actually is it's like $1,000 per sentence, really. Total? I don't know, total could be millions and millions of dollars, really. So suppose this actor came into his principal. We said, no, actors don't have principals. They have directors. Okay, so he came into his director. And he said, I've had it. I quit. And he takes his contract and goes, rips it up, and says, I don't want this. I don't want this. Okay? I'm off the set. Goodbye. Because what happened? You walk off now, you're forfeiting your contract. You're going to lose millions of dollars. I want to tell you something, okay? There's a certain amount of abuse a person can get and no more. What abuse? What's the problem? I got that cab first. I was there first. Do you understand that? Now, once, twice, 3 times, the other guy gets the cab and I stand there and this guy chasing me with a gun. He says, did you lose it? It's a script. It's not real. There's no real cab. There's no real. You're following a script. You're getting millions for this. Yeah, but I'm embarrassed. Who cares? You're getting paid to be embarrassed, you nitwit. What are you giving up millions of dollars for? Well, you're right. The Rebbe said, this is who we are in life. We're here for a very short period of time, relative to history. When we stood on Mount Sinai, and Hashem gave us the Torah, He checked us all up. We all had to be clicked into place. And every single one of us has a role, and every single one of us has a mission, and we're all part of an indispensable piece of the puzzle. If we were not here, there is no puzzle. There is no story of Klal Yisrael. The same is true for every person in the world. There's a purpose. And as many people are sitting here tonight, each and every one of you and me, we all have a different purpose in life. If any one of us shared that purpose, we wouldn't both be here. God does not make spare tires. He doesn't need any. Now, we were only given the Torah when everything was in check. So what happens if we blew it and we didn't do what we're supposed to do? So Hashem says, okay, I got to send you down again and give you another chance. And actually what happens before we're born is we're shown everything. We're shown who we are, what we are, and why we have to come down here. And this is going to be the situation in the world, and this is going to be what you're going to be facing in your lifetime. Do me a favor. Do it right. Click into place. The reward is endless. Okay. So once we know there's a script, once we know it's already, you see, the script says who I'm going to marry. The script says who I'm going to have a relationship with. But relax. Take it easy. You're getting paid millions. You're getting paid with eternity. Don't get so excited. Don't let your life be destroyed by the day in, day out frustrations. Stay put. Sit there. Enjoy what's coming. Once you enjoy what's coming, you begin to feel it even down here on this world. Reb Melech Biderman said a story that he heard from a Hatzalah member in Bnei Brak, and he showed big pictures by his shir. And he said that there was a woman, an old elderly woman that has serious asthmatic condition. She had a terrible asthma attack. They actually had to do CPR on her. They got her back. She was hospitalized. She came out, and the doctors warned her, be careful. Have everything you need ready just in case. And she came to the Hatzalah member to thank him, she and her husband, for saving her life. And she said, I have a question. Go ahead. We live in a remote street, there's no remote place in Bnei Brak, but it's a narrow street up an alley. My neighbor downstairs says they want to build a porch for their sukkah. They want to build a porch for their sukkah. Is that okay? Would that hurt me? He says, listen, I'm not a rabbi, I'm a Hatzalah member, but with your asthma condition, you cannot be in an active construction site. No way. No way. Okay. But I'll tell you, being a Hatzalah member, being a paramedic here in Bnei Brak, and what I've seen all the years, terrorist attacks and this and that and life, I'm going to tell you something else, okay? But you ask your rabbi what to do. If you can figure out a way that you let your neighbor have his porch, I always found that that's conducive to life. The ones that take life easy, the ones that seem to have a blessing to get through crises, to be able to move on. That's what I think. So she walks out and says, the guy just told me two things. He told me that it would be fatal if I was in a construction site and I have to breathe in the debris. On the other hand, he says he sees those that, those that are conducive for long lives to give in. So what do we do? So her husband said, I'll tell you something, it seems a little outlandish, but we could do it. The contractor says it's going to take him a month to build the porch. That means 3 months. When a contractor says 1 month, it means 3 months. Always know when you're doing construction, there's the rule of 3. It's in physics. Whatever they say it's going to cost 3 times as much. It's going to take 3 times as long. So let's say 3 months. He goes, we were going to go to America to visit our kid. Or we were going to go visit, let's do it now. They weren't planning on this visit to their children, or wherever their visit to their children was. I don't remember where. But they did it. They said, listen, we're going to go. We're going to be away for the 3 weeks. Build your porch. And they did. And the porch was built. And they came back, and they had the sukkah downstairs, and they were upstairs. And they now had a chorus of a new family singing underneath them. You know why sukkahs is man simchasenu? It's a time of great happiness. It's because you think that you're the only family that has problems. When you sit outside in the sukkah and everyone else is eating out there and you hear the fights and the screaming of the kids, you say, oh, them too? Oh, great. It's one of the reasons that sukkahs is called a happy time. But anyway, so fine. So sukkahs comes and goes. And this Hatzalah member says he gets a frantic call in the middle of the night. There's a fire. And he races over there, and there's a crisis like you can't imagine. This elderly couple, this couple is standing upstairs, they're standing by the window, and they're screaming, and they're yelling, and they're crying. The fire engine could not get into that block. It was too narrow. They couldn't get up the block. They couldn't get up the ladder. Tzala had a much shorter ladder, but how does that help them? And they're watching this couple, and the frustration was out of their minds, and there were people saying jump and scream and yelling. Finally, one of the Hatzalah members had an idea. He grabbed a ladder, the shorter ladder, used it to get onto the porch, the new porch. From the porch, extended the ladder up to the window, and they got the couple down just in the nick of time. Had that porch not been there, it would have cost them their lives. that point in your life that you're so frustrated and you're so angry, and you say, you know what, I've had it, and then you say, okay, I've had it, but what else do I have? I have life. Life is a gift. Life is a marriage between my soul, my neshama, and my body. Life is a marriage between me and everyone around me. I'm here for a reason. I'm not going to let this mess my life up. You know what, Hashem? I'm in your hands. Just tell me what to do. It's not the wine that's spilled, it's the water. Then all of a sudden, the quality of your life, the quantity of your life totally changes. It's a totally different perspective. So I saw this thing that was going around that someone said, one of the victims of the October 7th massacre, says an amazing story. They're not a frum couple. They're not Orthodox at all, but they decide, one year, the wife says, let's build a sukkah. Why? He says, our kids know so little about Yiddishkeit. Let's build a sukkah. Okay, so they go ahead and they build a sukkah. And they take the schach from a palm tree, one of the palm trees that's right across the street from their house. I guess with permission from the neighbor or whatever it is. Fine, and they have this sukkah. Like, why are you making a sukkah? Because kids, I want you to know, yeah, but I thought you're very leftist. Okay, well, you go left enough, you wind up on the right side. That's how it goes. So you get a little older, you move, you veer to the right. Fine. And then comes October 7th. And they run into their safe room, and a story that I've heard so many times. And they're holding on to he's holding on to the handle. And they're trying to force the handle open. He's holding on to the handle. They're trying to force the handle open. At the end, they give up, but they light the house on fire. The house is burning. He tries to get out through the door. By now, it's jammed from the back and forth breaking. There is a window. He says, we got to go out through the window. Go out through the window, we're going to die. We have to go out through the window. Here, we're sure going to die. We're burning up. And the family, he and his kids, they slide out this window. And at that moment, there's terrorists all around the place, but they didn't see them. And they ran across the street, and they hid in the palm tree. Can you hide in a palm tree? It had very low-hanging branches. You weren't totally hidden, but they just crouched and cowered near the tree. And for whatever reason, the Hamas people were going back and forth and didn't notice them. At one point, the husband said, I think I see a place across the street that's open, like a burnt-out shelter. Let's run there. We'll be more secure. And his wife said, so far God made a miracle for us here. Let's stay. And they stayed until they were rescued. When they came out, they saw that their entire house was burnt down except for the sukkah. And they also turned around and looked to see about this miraculous palm tree that protected them. And it was the very tree that they took the branches to make the roof, to make the schach for their sukkah. At some point, we're going to make a decision that I want to get my life on track, that I'm here for a purpose. I'm going to stop getting upset about things that I don't have to get upset about. I'm going to try to focus on my life. I'm going to try to focus on the quality of my life, on a sense of mission. Hashem, it's not about what you owe me. Just give me the peace of mind. Give me the tranquility to move on. And that moment, that decision that you make can easily save your life. Just one last analogy. I had a leased car for a while. Then it came to COVID. And it was crazy, the new prices for leases. So the broker I was working with said, so buy it. He says, buy it. Instead of doubling your amount you're paying for a lease, buy the car and you'll pay as a loan. You'll pay the same amount as the lease. The only problem is you're not getting a new car. So your car's 3 years old. So I said, okay. So what do I have to do? Nothing. Sign a paper. I signed a paper. I walk outside. My wife is in the car. We were going someplace to a wedding. And I start driving and I go, what's that noise? What's that grinding of the brakes? Well, I think the car's leaning to one side. She said, you had this car for 3 years. You didn't hear a noise. You didn't hear any brakes grinding. It wasn't tilting on one side. What happened now? I said, I signed a paper that it's mine. Till now it was a lease. Who cares? I said, so why'd you sign the paper for? Take it back. If we could only get it into our heads, our life is a lease. It's a lease. God gave us an act. He gave us a script. Don't get too worried about it. Don't get too excited about it. We're not here forever. Use every day the way you're supposed to. And if I am off track, and there's a reset that takes place as Rosh Hashanah, the reason we're saying slichos is we're asking Hashem, just put me back on track. Put me back on track. And I know I'm back on track when I don't get more upset when the wine spills, when the water spills. I know I'm back on track. It doesn't frustrate me at all if someone else got the cab ahead of me. I know I'm back on track when there's a feeling in my heart. Rabbi Shalom, I have a sense of commitment. I'm putting everything aside. I want to do what's right. And that moment, somehow, subconsciously, I think we can all feel that my life has been saved and those around us. And Bez Hashem Yisbarach, it should be a year of shalom. And just like last year, we faced tragedies and horrors that no one could have possibly imagined. This year, we should face Yeshuas, Simchas, salvations, and nachas, and brachas that no one in the world could have possibly imagined.
Hi everybody, and thank you for listening to this week's episode of Jewish and Joyful. We have some more incredible guests and content coming, so please follow and subscribe for more. I'd like to tell you about Parsha Knowledge, an incredible weekly Torah publication with a nice Torah thought story and incredible inspiration. It's perfect for you for your Shabbos table, so if you want to get it for free, please email parshaknowledge@gmail.com. You can visit parshaknowledge.com. I'd also like to tell you about an incredible project called Our Olam Mishnah. Our Olam Mishnah is changing the world. That's helping thousands upon thousands of people learn the Chavetz Chaim's Mishnah and the Shulchan Aruch with beautiful English translation and notes and beautiful pictures. If you'd like to get one, please visit your local bookstore. You can visit the website r-ilam.org. This will change your way of learning Mishnah Berurah, a real game changer for you. So please check it out and get it. Thank you for listening and have an amazing day.